Narayana 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 Sriman Narayana. Wonderful friends, another day we are here to spend some time in trying to strengthen our understandings and convictions regarding the truth, regarding spiritual goals, spiritual sadhanas, and all glories of the spiritual path. Through the study of Upanishads, Shwethashwathara Upanishad, we are studying fourth chapter we are in. In this fourth chapter, today's mantra is the most enchanting, beautiful, wonderful, unparalleled, and unique because of the content, the subject matter that it talks about the Jiva Bhava, the Jiva's way of living, and therefore the bondage. How the Jiva's bandhana happens. Where exactly is the bandhanam? How is it bandhanam anubhuta experienced? Such very crucial topics, along with how he can get liberated from all his bandhanas, shackles, and experience that muktanubhuti. These things are exhaustively covered in this sloka more beautifully by the Bhashyakara Sri Adi Shankara Bhagavan. So bring all the attention, Shraddha, patience, awareness to try to listen, understand, digest every line of the mantra, every sentence line of the Bhashya also. Let us try our best, relying upon the grace of the entire Guru Parampara and Bhagavad. Before that, as usual, we'll spend some 15-20 minutes in our Rigveda Parayana, in our common sense thought, in our Mangala Charana Shloka, Sankalpa, in our Upanishad Mantra Ucharana, and our then Adhyayana of the Upanishad with Bhashya. We are in to the seventh mandalam of Rigveda, 70th, 70, Anuvaka onwards, we have to chant. Let us see 3 or 4, depending on the size of them. Om Athaveda Parayanam Rigvedaha Saptama Mandalam Saptatitama Anuvakadarabhyam Om Avishwavarashvinagatam Nah Pratatsthanamavachivam Pruthivyam Ashwo Navajeshu Na Prushto Asthada Yatsedathurdruvasenayo Yonim Sishakti Savam Sumatischa Nishtatapi Garmo Manusho Durone Yovam Samudran Sarita Vipartye Tagva Chinna Suyuja Yujanaha Yani Sthananyashvina Dadate Divo Yahvishvoshadhishu Viksho Niparvatasya Mordhani Sadantesham Janaya Dashu Shevahanta Chanishtan Deva Oshadhishvapsu Yadyogya Ashnavaithe Rushinam Puro Niratna Dadatonyasme Anupurvani Chakyaturyugani Shushruvansa Chidashvina Puronya Chakshate Rushinaam Pratiprayatam Paramajanayasme Vamastu Sumatischa Nishta Yovam Yagnona Satya Havishman Kruta Brahma Samaryo Bhavate Upaprayatam Dvarama Vasishtamima Brahman Richyamte Yuvabhyam Iyam Manisha Iyamashvina Girimam Subruktim Vrushana Ima Brahmani Yuvayon Nyagmanyoyam Pata Swasti Vesadanaha 71 Apasvasu Rushasto Nagdihite Rinakti Krishnira Rushaya Pantham अश्वामघा गोमघावां हुवे मदिवास्नक्तं शरुमस्मद्युयोतम् उपायातम् दाशुषे मर्त्याय रथेन वाममश्विना वहन्त युयुतमस्मदनिराममीवां दिवानक्तं माध्वी त्रासीथां नः आवां रथमवमस्यां व्युष्टौ सुम्नाय भो वृषणो वर्तयन्तो स्यूमगभस्तिमृतयुग्भिरश्वैराश्विना वसुमन्तं वहेताम् यो वां रथो नृपति अस्ति वोढा त्रिबन्धुरो वसुमा उस्रयाम आन एनाना सत्योपयातमभियद्वां विश्वप्स्यो जिगाथे युवं च वानञ्जरसो मुमुक्तं निपेदव ऊहतु राशुमश्वम् निरंहसस्तमसः स्पर्धमत्रिं निजाहुषं शिथिरे धातमन्तः इयं मनीषा इयमश्विना गिरिमां सुवृक्तिं वृषणाजुषेथाम् इमा ब्रह्माणि युवयून्यग्मन्योऽयं पातः स्वस्तिभिः सदा नः 72 आगोमताना सत्यारथेनाश्वावथा पुरुश्चन्द्रेण यातम् अभिवां विश्वानियुतः सचन्ते स्पार्हया श्रिया तन्वा शुभाना आनो देवे विरूपयातमर्वाक् सजोषसाना सत्यारथेन युवोर्हिनः सख्या पित्र्याणि समानो बन्धुरुतथस्य वित्तम् उदुस्तोमासो अश्विनोरबुन्द्रं जामि ब्रह्माण्युषसश्च देवीः आविवासन् रोदसीधिस्नेमे अच्छा विप्रो न सत्या विभक्तिं विचेदुच्छन्त्यश्विना उषास प्रभां ब्रह्माणि कारवो भरन्ते ऊर्ध्वं भानुं सविदा देवो अश्रेत् बृहदग्नयः समिधा जरन्ते आ पश्चातान्ना सत्या पुरस्ता दाश्विनायातमदरादुदक्ताद् आ विश्वतः पाञ्चजन्येन राया यूयं वातः स्वस्तिभिः सदा नः 73 अतारिष्मतमसस्पारमस्य प्रतिस्तोमं देवयन्तो दधानाः पुरुदंसा पुरुतमा पुराजामर्त्या हवते अश्विनागीः न्युप्रियो मनुषः सादिहोता न सत्यायो यजते वन्दते च अश्नीतं मध्वो अश्विना उपाक आवां वोचे विदतेषु प्रयस्वान् अहेम यज्ञं पथामुराणा इमां सुवृक्तिं वृषणाजुषेथां सृष्टिवेव प्रेषितो वामबोधिप्रतिस्तोमैर्जरमाणो वसिष्ठात् उपत्यावह्निगमथो विशन्नो रक्षोहणा संभृता वीडुपाणि समन्धांस्यग्मतमत्सराणि मानो मर्धिष्ठमा गतं शिवेन आपश्चातान्ना सत्या पुरस्तादाश्विना यातमधरादुदक्ताद् आविश्वतः पाञ्चजन्येन राया यूयं पात स्वस्तिभिः सदा नः 74 इमा उवां दिविष्टय उस्राहवन्ते अश्विना अयं वा मह्वेवसे शचीवसु विषं विषं हि गच्छतः युवं चित्रं ददथुर्भोजनं न राचोदेतां सूनृतावते अर्वाग्रतं समनसा नियच्छतं पिबतं सौम्यं मधो आयातमुपभूषदं मध्वः पिबतमश्विना दुग्धं भयो वृषणाजेन्यावसूमानो मर्धिष्ठमागतम् अश्वासो ये वामुपदाशुषो गृहं युवां दीयन्ति बिभ्रतः मक्षूयोभिर्नराहयेभिरश्विना देवायाधमन्मया वस्मयो अताहयन्तो अश्विना पृक्षः सचन्तसूरयः तायं सतो मघवद्भ्यो ध्रुवं यशश्चर्तिरस्मभ्यं नासत्या प्रये ययुरवृकासो रथा इव नृपातारो जनानाम् उत स्वेन शवसा शूशुवुर्नर उत क्षीयन्ति सुक्षितम् ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः Shanti. 74 we did, up to 75 will start tomorrow. Friends, in today's common sense thought, what we discuss is key as we saw yesterday, continuation of that world is running in its own speed, in its own way, though at one side has decided, planned by the Lord, but the other side it is the demand, desire of the Samashti Jiva Koti of all yonis. So that goes on, going on. We cannot stop it. How it works out, it gets planned out, we don't know. The whole universe, whether the whole universe works towards the Kama Purushartha, working towards the Artha Purushartha, working towards the Dharma, or working towards the Moksha. To our intellect, it is immediately non apprehendable at this level of our uh, intellectual or purification evolution. Only highly purified yoga sthita vyaktis can comprehend in what direction the universe is moving. But still, at our human intellectual level, we can see the world nowadays going toward the artha and kama more and more. So, this is general, simple understanding. Point one. Point two is what? We are there in the horizon, under the sky, on the earth at this time. From so many years, for so many years, we'll be there. So, first thing is what, as we discussed yesterday exhaustively, our roles, our responsibilities, our duties, our obligations in the world outside. Whatever they have to be done delicately, consciously, scrupulously, sincerely, committed way, to the best of the abilities, with all perfections, we have to do. All these we have to develop. That also part of evolution. But all said and done, remember this most important thing is that we have to mind ourselves, we have to mind our own safety and security, we have to mind our own development, and finally, we have to mind our own evolution. And whether it is called safety, security, improvement, development, or evolution, all of that lies only in the spiritual evolution. See how much of our minds are occupied now on the name of whatever the duty obligation in the world, how much of our mind is occupied with the spiritual thought, the spiritual understandings, the spiritual knowledges, the spiritual inclinations, and spiritual noble desires that in this direction have to grow. That determines, are we rightly utilizing our intellect for its greater purpose. Like yesterday in one of the texts it came, Vivekataha and Avivekataha. In Mandukya Upanishad it came, and also in the evening class. So the highest level of Viveka is this, to discriminate and understand that the evolution depends only in the spiritual evolution. Evolution is really spiritual evolution only. So we have to understand it very carefully, along with one side of our hand or leg there in the world to serve the world to the extent possible. But then the other side should be equally strong in our personal understandings and efforts regarding our own personal adhyatmika sadhana. Otherwise, we are lost in delusion. See what is said in Gita is Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Raja. So, by taking refuge at the feet of the Lord or the Brahman, the Atman, the reality, by realizing the oneness with it, we get moksha. For that, when the dharma themselves are to be given up, what to talk about the lower than the dharma, the other obligations, etc. of the world, isn't it? There is no end to them. ये चलते ही रहते हैं. But our attention should be consciously on our own adhyatmika pragati. देखो, in Gita, how exhaustively, technically though it was, clearly Bhagwan Shankara Bhagwan was saying in that Bhashyam. How important is that topic? Though it was spoken in the Shastriya Bhasha, we can be wise enough to understand it in our Bhasha. What was said was for the Vidwan as well as for Mokshu. There is no adhikara in the karma, and his adhikara is only in the Atma Prapti Marga. It was said technically, we have to translate it into our own understanding to say that there is no thing more sacred than the spiritual evolution, and it is a question of our understanding and conviction about it. That's it. The problem is there. There is no doubt regarding the spiritual evolution's glory of total as well as individual. Let's talk about individuals, you and I. The problem with us is we have not yet understood it. It's only to be understood and to be accepted that the spiritual evolution is the highest evolution. That should be given more and more importance. So, all our days, planning and schedule should be in such a manner how much I am becoming antarmukha, how much I am becoming atma abhimukha, how much of my time or activities, sadhanas are consciously aimed at that, and we are doing that. Even little of again our distraction that let me do little of punya, let me get higher end sukhas bhogas, again we are trapped. And let me fulfill any of the things iska to at a level where we have not understood spiritual truth, these are all valid. एक बार पारमार्थिक सत्य को समझना शुरू करते हैं with the help of the acharyas gurus, with the help of the study of Upanishads, our priorities should change. That our goal is spiritual goal, our sadhana is spiritual sadhana, we are giving more and more weightage to that. And lucky for many people, if not all, that the whole day is at their disposal. And lots of servants are there, people are there to help, nobody to trouble or bother. Those few years of 10, 20 years, to whom? To everyone when the Lord gives in their life. Unknowing this one, not knowing some, people spend those sacred hours, sacred days, sacred years, again going back into world and worldliness. Let us not be that way, cheating ourselves, deluding ourselves. Let us find the sacredness of spiritual goal. Let us find that it is possible only as a human being we can do and achieve. Here and now is the time for us. So therefore, let the world go in its own way. Wherever we are called for, we go there. अगर युद्ध हो गया इंडिया पाकिस्तान और मुझे बुला रहे, मेरी जरूरत है, जाएंगे हम, जरूरत है तो. बट मोर देन दैट जरूरत, द जरूरत राइट नाउ इज आवर ओन आध्यात्मिक साधन. Relentlessly, fully, we have to involve in it. In that also we know listening, studying Upanishads to strengthen the knowledge and conviction about the Paramatma Tattva, and then polishing our upadhis, etc., for us to become capable of realizing the truth on the seat of our dhyana abhyas. इसी पे जोर, इसी पे नजर. Nothing else should be important to us. In whatever the way, this goal, this conviction becomes stronger, that is the right way. And whatever the way of thinking or whatever it is involvements, which neutralize this goal of ours and again makes our mind imagine that the world can be goal, that's dussanga, isn't it? And इतना अलर्ट, इतना चौकन्ना होना है कि अपने मन को ही मौका नहीं देना. What to talk about the mind of others, what to talk about the world, that we give them any chance to make us distracted. खुद के मन को ही मौका नहीं देना, खुद के इंद्रियों को ही मौका नहीं, इवन बुद्धि को भी ऑलवेज कीप इट इन ठिकाना. It should not fall in its conviction and planning for spiritual sadhana. Buddhi. Mind should never have its own any demands for any distracting fields. The Indriyas should always be in our control. They have no demands of their own. They are ready as servants to do what we say, and we say to it to do the spiritual things only. And the Vani chants the mantras, the ears listen about the tattva, the eyes look at the beautiful form of the Lord, etc. etc. ऐसा ही हमारा जीवन को मोल्ड करने के प्रयत्न में लगे रहना है. That's called spiritual practice, spiritual sadhana, spiritual sincerity. And when we do them, naturally we will enjoy that evolution. Our dekho, at this moment where we are every day listening to Upanishads, if we can't do them now, when will we do? Will there be any information or inspiration when this opportunity we miss or lose or forego of listening to Upanishads every day? जब उपनिषद के द्वारा दिन भगवान तत्व रिमाइंड किया जा रहा है, if we can't do now, I'm asking question to myself and you, when this opportunity goes away, will we be able to even think about this? And this awakening is called as right thinking. Through the right thinking, we have to awaken, we have to think. मेरा जिंदगी क्या है, मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ, मुझे पाना क्या है, उसके लिए करना क्या है, कैसे करो. In this way, the every day the thinking should happen of the intellect. है ना? If we don't think, then we don't understand, then we don't get convictions, then we are not inspired to do our adhyatmika pragati sadhana. Then हो गया फिर life wasted. Little satisfaction की, yeah, 1 hour we used to listen to Upanishad. वो ठीक है, that's not less activity. Compared to millions, this is a glorious action, no doubt about it. But what is the outcome of it? What's the consequence? This is the beginning. No, it's not the end. End to only in knowing the truth. And for that we have to walk. And walk single pointedly only towards that. Because of the unfortunate nature of the things, his spiritual path is one direction. All other things other than it are totally opposite direction. And we cannot walk in two directions at one time. Either that or this. And if you have chosen that one, these have to be reduced only, made zero. बस मैं निकला तत्व जानने के लिए. इस तरह से how we understand, how we plan, how we really execute those plans, where to gather all the knowledge, the required the inspiration, inputs, energy, strength, stamina, सारा हमको दिमाग लगाना पड़ता है. And we have दिमाग. उसको दिमाग लगा है यार, it is lost in something. We have that inferiority complex with us. We have the feeling that we cannot think, we cannot do. Today we will see one of the worst quality of the jiva is I am useless, thinking like that. जीव भाव का एक दौर्भाग्य थॉट है कि आई कांट डू दिस, आई कांट डू दैट, आई कांट डू साधना. द अनीशा, द शब्द जो आज भगवान कहेंगे उपनिषद में. So conquering that one, we can do. The Lord, the Gurus are there with us. We are already given sufficient knowledges, powers. We can do our sadhana as a sochkar. We have to give more importance to it throughout the day. Isn't it? The world is like that. वो जवाबदार कभी होगा वर्ल्ड नहीं, कभी वर्ल्ड नहीं होगा कि मेरे साधना नहीं ने दुनिया की सेवा में लगते हुए नहीं किया मैंने, सो दुनिया को जुर्वार. The world will not accept. Always remember. The people, the world, all of them have the two knacks. Knack one of using, misusing, abusing us, and throwing us like a tissue paper. Second is, whenever you complain to the world saying that it's because of involving with you, in you, serving you, that I could not have time to do my sadhana. If this question or objection you raise, that objection is overruled because they say, we might have asked you, तुम्हारा दिमाग कहाँ गया? This is the question. We might have asked you, we might have told you, we are selfish. Yes, we know you help us. But you should have your dimag to know what is the shreyas for you, what is best for you. Isn't it? That question, they will ask us, तुम्हारा दिमाग कहाँ गया? So that time though, the pain in the heart will be so much. So why we have to wait for that? अभी अपना दिमाग use करो. Please remember, say no to the spirituality. Spirituality stops bothering us. say yes, say yes to the worldliness, the world becomes important to us. Reverse karo. Say no, no, no to the world. Slowly it leaves us. Vishya vinivartante niraharasya dehina. And say yes, 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 yes to the spirituality. Then your mind is occupied in that, which is to be achieved. Before we leave the body, at least a few sublime understandings, experiences as indicated in the Adhyatmikata, we have to achieve. ऐसा मन बनाना है ना? ऐसा मन बनाना है. Like somebody as a municipal councillor, before his post goes away, he should do some activities for that particular ward. An MLA, before he leaves it, he should do something for that constituency. And a district magistrate, as long as there he is in service before transfer, he should do achieve something. Everybody should feel like that. In the same way, you and I, spiritual seekers should feel that we must. एक तो सिद्धांत ज्ञान स्पष्टता and Paramatma alone is the Lakshya exclusively. Second one is working towards that. Some achievements. Chitta ekagrata, it should be there. Chitta shuddhi, or even Naham Dehosmi, Anubhuti, or Sakshi Bhava Anubhuti. At least one of them we must achieve. छोड़ने से छूट जाता है, पकड़ने से पकड़ में आता है. Please remember it. Otherwise, the funniest thing in our life is what? We are waiting. Waiting for what? For whom? Not doing our sadhana. We are waiting for what? For whom? What? There's nothing better than this time. There's nothing other than greater than Paramatma as the goal. And there is no better time than this, situation than this, convenience than this. We are in the bestest place placed. If we don't do now, when will we do? Think about it. And you and I, as growing in age, day by day, our abilities, etc., will get reduced also. You can't be as sharp and as intelligent, as dynamic, as mobile as we are now. I too can see very clearly what I was yesterday, day before. Today, that energy is not there. Krishna Vasudeva. So, the whole thought is what? Attend to the world when required, but please start giving importance to one's own Adhyatmic Sadhana and Pragati. This is one thought today. Complementing this is the second one, very essential. Dekho, our intellect, its capacities now. Our mind, its capacities now. Our indriyas, their capacity. Our sharira, its capacity. Is it infinite? Are we yogi, mahayogi, or mahabhaktas? That the Lord is continuously filling us with the energy. नहीं है ना? है थोड़ा ही. Now the second thought is what? The two things are there. One is bhoga, second is yoga. In doing either of them, bhoga or yoga, energy to spent. Energy goes like you sit in the class for 1 hour. It is a tremendous energy consumed. Then you will be tired. Definitely after this class, there will be tiredness. और मेरे को तो जान ही निकल जाता है. The second class I do with so much of invoked energy, very difficult. Because an intellectual work it is. For me, intellectual, emotional, vocal, all going on. For you also. Intellectual, emotional, years of yours have to involve. Not an ordinary thing continuously to listen about the Vedanta for 1 hour. It's not an entertainment. It's a very, very vigorous struggle. In the same way, when you do the japa sadhana, it's a tremendous struggle till we reach to the state of totally controlling the mind. Doing that 1 hour upasana is tremendous energy consumption. है ना, half an hour that पारायण करते हो इतना एनर्जी जाता है. In the same way, the other things, like when you talk to the people for half an hour, is it not energy spent on phone or physically? You know, reading a newspaper, is it not energy consumption? Reading any magazine, reading any of the articles, is it not a time consumption? Looking or watching at the TV. Whether it is a news channel, whether it is a movies channel, every moment, every second, his energy is consumed. Then when the energy is consumed, naturally we are tired and exhausted. Now use the discretion and intelligence. Key limited energies we have, when they are used in either of the things, will definitely be tired and exhausted, and we need to go for the rest. Rest is unavoidable. But before taking the rest, we are tired and exhausted because of our involvement and our limitation in our resources, energies. Now the question is, in which we have to spend our energy and get tired so that we are not available for the other. Is it that in the bhoga we spend all our energy and get tired and go to sleep, not having any time energy for the yoga? Is it wisdom? Or is it that in the Adhyatmika Karyakramas we involve and lose or spend our energy, of course, rightly, get exhausted, have the rest, come back, and again take up such things so that there is no time energy spent for the life destroying bhoga of Sochlo. We are doing so many things unwanted in the day because of which the mental, intellectual, physical, indriya level of energy are so much exhausted. That's why the lack of energy at all these levels is shown in the form of lack of interest in spiritual things. मानो आप सुबह 6 बजे उठकर अभी क्लास 8 बजे था सवा 2 घंटे अनेक चीजों में इन्वॉल्व हो गए है ना 15 मिनट न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ा जॉगिंग के लिए गए दौड़ेंगे सो मेनी थिंग्स यू डिड फोन में इससे से बात की अब ना व्हेन यू कम टू क्लास यू आर ऑलरेडी टायर्ड देन यू कांट सिट यू से चल जाएंगे सो जाएंगे होता है कि नहीं बोलो सो देयरफॉर limited resources of capacities energies sattva gunas we are not maha yogis that we can have so much of energy to manage the world manage this तो फिर करें क्या इंटेलिजेंट है तो अगर हम so think about it. We are not specifically, insistingly telling, but only informing that this is how it is. Energies are limited, ways, paths are two. The Preyo Marga of the Bhoga, the Shreya Marga of the Yoga. In both of them, while doing them, lot of energy is consumed. Then we get tired, exhausted. Then what to do? Think about it. When we get exhausted, we anyway have to take rest. So indulge in the bhoga, थक गए, सो गए, फिर उठे, again फिर भोगा, फिर थक गए, खाए, सोए, उठे और भोगा. That is the way of what sort of people we know. And the other person involving in all sadhanas, yoga sadhanas, karma yoga, bhakti yoga, and all of that, jnana yoga, tired, they take rest. Again come back, again do this only. Sources, resources are limited. इवन द टाइम ऑल्सो यू कैन टॉक इट एज ए रिसोर्स वो भी उतना ही है हर दिन 24 घंटे ही होते हैं वेयर डू यू वांट टू स्पेंड इट सो द टाइम द एनर्जी and the capacities of the mind remaining intact same whatever we are using that shows whether we are gambhira or not paripakva or not whether we are sincere about our own adhyatmikata or not or still we are with age grown still childlike immatured giving our time energy for the unwanted things. This is the second thought. Left for one's own thinking, discretion, decision, and then acting accordingly. After all, when you grow spiritually, people, whether they appreciate or not, many will appreciate, clap, that's all secondary, but the joy is one's own. So, too, when we don't grow spiritually, we become worldly. Whether the world likes it or dislikes or hates us, whatever, we are the losers. हमें तो अपना स्वयं का अचीवमेंट के ऊपर दृष्टि रखनी स्वयं के अचीवमेंट की दृष्टि द अदर थिंग्स एंड द स्वयं अचीवमेंट्स इज इनर अचीवमेंट आई टॉक अबाउट all other things they come and go like you are made a head of the organization or you are given a big title or post. How does it matter what are you inside that's important isn't it and in that also how much I am spiritual बाकी सारे तो चलते रहते इस दुनिया में, isn't it? So think about these two things. One is choosing the spirituality as the goal. Second is knowing that the energies are limited, not infinite. Therefore, what they are to be used for before we get tired. And the third funniest thing is what? Whether you involve in bhoga or not involve in bhoga. And involve in yoga or not involve in yoga. The funniest part is the time is spent and the energy also goes. ऐसे बैठे रहो शाम तक, न टीवी देखा और न सत्संग किया, फिर भी थक जाते फिर भी दिन गुजर जाता है. Not doing also time is spent, energy is spent. Doing also time, energy is spent. We get exhausted. And whether the doing is yoga or bhoga, that's our choice. This way we have to think for our own betterment, decide, commit. And another important aspect, another day we discuss is the commitment wala. I have to commit to my own higher spiritual sadhanas and gather those inspirations, gather those well planned, well executed activities. करते रहो तभी होता है ना? Otherwise, kept the goal very higher, nobler, very good, but did nothing. Therefore, an inch also is not moved towards it. Then what a nirasha it is. What a disappointment. देखो भाई 10 साल के बाद इस 10 साल का करतूत के कारण निराशा होनी है या आनंद होना है, isn't it? That we have to think. Like you and I in our case, there is one very happy thing for us that last 5 years, this month only we started, we are enjoying our Upanishad classes, listening, enjoy. That's a great thing. But the other time of the day, do we have the same type of feeling of fulfillment as we have for this 1 hour that we have spent it in for the study of the Upanishads? बाकी टाइम तो डिसअपॉइंटेड ही है ना. तो हम यही सोचेंगे अगले 5 साल पीछे मुड़कर देखें. Not only we were more sincere in our morning and evening classes, in between also we have done our best. देखो when हम दुनियादारी में फंसते ना, कोई भगवान कोई गुरु हमको नहीं रोकते. छोटू, जब हम आध्यात्मिकता में जाते हैं, कोई दुनिया वाले भी हमें रोक नहीं सकते. It is I who have to decide what is best for me. Thank you. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om 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 Sahanavavadu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः. ओम शांति शांति शांति. ओम नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः. ओम यैरिमे गुरुभिः पूर्वं वदवाक्य प्रमाणतः व्याख्याताः सर्ववेदान्ताः सच्चास्त्राः तान् नित्यं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्. ओम शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्य कृतौ वंदे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः. ओम निधये सर्वविद्यानां विषजे भवरोगिणां गुरवे सर्वलोकानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः. ओम श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्. ओम विदिताखिलशास्त्रसुधा जलधे महितोपनिषत् कथितार्थनिधे हृदये कलये विमलं चरणं भवशङ्करदेशिकमे शरणम्. ॐ ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तन्नमामि. परब्रह्मणे श्रुतिमात्रे समस्त ब्रह्म विद्याचार्येभ्यो ऋषिभ्यो मुनिभ्यो गुरुभ्यो देवताभ्यो अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः. पाण्डुभ्यो श्वेताश्वतरोपनिषदाचार्येभ्यो नमः. संकल्पः तेषां सर्वेषां कृपानुग्रहेण उपनिषदुक्त ब्रह्मात्मैक्यबोधेन अस्मिन् क्षणे एव मोक्षकैवल्यप्राप्त्यर्थं सनातनधर्मस्य वैदिकहैन्दव संस्कृतेः साम्प्रदायानां शास्त्राणां मोक्षमार्गाणां गुरुशिष्यभक्तभगवत्परम्परादीनां भक्तिज्ञानयोगवेदान्तादिप्रक्रियाणां पुनरुत्थानजागरणविश्वव्याप्तिद्वारा विश्वाध्यात्मिकप्रगति एकता शान्ति पुरोभिवृद्ध्यर्थम् अस्मिन् सनातनधर्मसंस्थापने कङ्कणबद्ध अस्माकं सह सर्वेषां महानुभावानाम् आचार्याणां गुरूणां श्रेयविलासिनां भक्तशिष्यसाधकसेवकोपासकजिज्ञासु श्रोतॄणां पूर्णायुरारोग्य ऐश्वर्य क्षेमस्थैर्यधैर्यवीर्यादि समस्त शक्ति संपदा सानुकूल्यता साधनानां प्राप्ति ज्ञानादीनां प्राप्ति बाह्याभ्यंतर शत्रुविघ्न निर्मूलन द्वारा धर्म संस्थापन कार्य नित्य निरंतर दिग्विजयार्थम श्रीराम मंदिरवत् शिव कृष्णादि समस्त मंदिराणाम् आश्रमाणां पुण्यदिव्य क्षेत्राणां विश्वविद्यालय भूभागादीनां पुनरवाप्ति तेषु निरंतर शास्त्र अध्ययन अध्यापन उपासना यज्ञयाग साधना सेवा तपस्या प्रार्थनादीनां द्वारा भारतवर्षस्य सनातन धर्मस्य बाह्याभ्यंतर शत्रूणां शाश्वतरूपेण अस्मिन् क्षणे एव समूल निर्मूलनार्थं भारतवर्षे विश्वे च अस्मात् क्षणादारभ्य शाश्वतरूपेण वैदिकहैन्दव संस्कृतेः सुसम्प्रतिष्ठावाप्त्यर्थं विश्वे मोक्षधर्म पुरुषार्थप्रतिष्ठाद्वारा विश्व संरक्षणाभिवृद्ध्यर्थमस्यां कक्षायाम् आगतानां सर्वेषां श्रोतृमहानुभावानां सङ्कल्पितसत्कर्मसु दिग्विजयार्थं तेषां हृदये परब्रह्म भगवद्देवता गुरुशास्त्र सत्संग साधना सेवा माता पितृदेश धर्म सनातन धर्म भक्त्यादीनां द्वारा जन्म साफल्यार्थम अनेक शास्त्राणाम् अध्ययन साधना प्रयत्न मध्ये श्री कृष्णयजुर्वेदीय श्वेताश्वतरोपनिषदः श्री आद्यशंकर भाष्य समेत अध्ययन साधना प्रयत्न मोक्षार्थम वयं सर्वे करिष्यामहे। ओम नित्यानन्दं निराधारं निखिलाधारमव्ययं निगमाद्यगतं नित्यं नीलकण्ठं नमाम्यहम्। ओम सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम अथ चतुर्थोऽध्यायः। Fourth chapter. We have to chant from mantra 18, 19, no, 19, 20, 21, 22. ॐ नैनमूर्ध्वं न तिर्यं च न मध्ये परिजग्रभत न तस्य प्रतिमा अस्ति यस्य नाम महत् यशः न सन्दृशे तिष्ठति रूपमस्य न चक्षुषा पश्यति कश्चनैनं हृदा हृदि स्तं मनसाय एनम् एवं विदुरमृतास्ते भवन्ति अजात इत्येवं कश्चिद्भीरुः प्रपद्यते रुद्रयत्ते दक्षिणं मुखं तेन मां पाहि नित्यं मानस्तोके तनये मान आयुषी मानो गोषु मानो अश्वेषु रीरिषः वीरान्मानो रुद्रभामितो वधीः हविष्मन्तः सदमित्वा हवामहे। ओम शांतिः शांतिः शांतिः। Chant the mantra. Sixth one, Dvasuparna. Om Dvasuparna Sayuja Sakhaya Samanam Ruksham Parishasvajate Tayoranyah Pippalam Swadu Atti Anashnan Anyo Avichakashiti. This and next shloka are the Sutra Bhuta shlokas for the entire Vedanta in general, and what's the subject to be explained further in this text particular. So therefore, it becomes very essential for us to grasp the entire thing. This mantra with Bhashya we try to understand in last 2 days. So Samanam Vruksham, on the very one tree, Parishasvajate, hugging means making their permanent residence. Staying are these two birds. Vijnanatma, Paramatma. Suparna, Sayuja, Sakha. And feel what is said by the Rishi in this way. With that Pakshi Samanya and the Vriksha and two Pakshis. Thereafter, Tayoho Anyaha Pippalam Sadhu Atti. Among them, one, the Jivatma, the Vijnanatma, Aneka Janma, Avidya, Vasana, Kamana, Karma, Rupi Sukha Dukha, Pippalam Swadu, Aneka Aswada Atti. You and I are that state now. Every word is so sacred there. And this will be more further beautifully, exhaustively explained in the next seventh mantra. We will very attentively every sentence study that. But ये भी छोड़ना नहीं, इसको 10 बार पढ़कर the essence should be caught. So one word is the Vijnanatma. Who is Vijnanatma? Phala, Sukha Dukha. He goes through various means. That Sukha Dukha is called Pippalam Atti. Okay. Then Upamukte, and here only the word we see in the common sense that we are discussing, Avivekataha. So when there is a Viveka, where is the ultimate bliss? That is thought over and understood. When the Viveka is not there, in the absence of it, what prevails, what dominates is the delusion. In the delusion only, identification with Upadhi, and thereafter taking the world so really seriously. Thereafter, the Katha to Khatam, he is a Jiva now, a regular Karta Bhakta sufferer. Then he says, Anashnan Anyaha. The other one is not doing the Ashanam. When he is not doing the Ashanam, therefore, all the gunas the earlier Vijnanatma has got, he has not got. And he is exactly opposite of him. All of that said in one sentence, Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Swabhavaha. Then Parameshwaraha, the other word. What is he doing, sir? Abhichaka Shaiti means Sarvam Api Pashyan Aste. Everything is watching as a witness, Sakshi, but he is staying there on the same Bruksha. Two words. So we continue as a Jiva Pakshi, continue our Avidya, continue our Brahma, continue our Vasanas, and even increase them, allow continuously the Kamana, and one side identify the Upadhi, second side see the world as Bhogavastu, then toward the world only these Kamanas, then the prescribed karma to achieve them you do, or even non-prescribed nonsense, get the objects, get involved, then remain only in this state as if this alone is ultimate. This point will be very seriously stressed in our next shloka bhashya. So with this sixth mantra we have studied. Tayoho anyaha pipalam swadvati, anyaha anashnan avichakashit. Among them one is fully engrossed in indulging in the karma phala bhoga, the other one is as a sakshi, just witnessing without going through any phala bhoga. So in that only you can have an idea. The second Pakshi has got Atmajnana. Atman is blissful, infinite, Purna. Therefore, he is not miserable, nor he is finite, nor is Apurna. That a desire can come him. There is no desire in him, therefore no Kamya Karma. Therefore, no Karma Phala given to him or sought by him. Therefore, he will not be he will not be Ashnan, he will be Anashnan only. Anashnan, not going through this Sukha Dukkha Samsara. So this delusion we have to understand wherein seeking the sukha, we are invoking the dukkha in the world. This is a delusion. This is a non-understanding. This is a confusion. If you want a dukkha rahita sukha and shashvata sukha, that's only in your own self. Be the self, that's it. And the nature of that self, the place of the self to be discovered, all of them have to be understood. Then discover that self and abide in it. What you are struggling to achieve and never achieved in last millions of lives, all of that is achieved here. That's what the rishis have found. That's why so strongly through Upanishads they are able to tell us that what you are seeking is only in your own self. उन्होंने अनुभव पाया ना, तभी जाकर वो इतना स्ट्रेस करके बोल रहे हैं. If they have not found the self, they would have said there is no self. If they have found their sukha permanent in the objective world, they would have encouraged us for that only. When they said Nakarmana Prajana Dharena Tyagena Ki Amrudatva Manashu means what? They found the bliss in the self, they found the self, not then there's no sukha in the world, it's only temptation that it gives sukha, but it gives dukkha only. Right. Now come to the very important shloka of our life of this Upanishad, of all Upanishads, of the entire Vedantic Marga. Chant this mantra 4 times till it becomes by hearted by you and me. Then we will study it directly for 10 5 minutes. Then we will go through the Bhashya. Twice we are doing like this कि मंत्र का पदों से अर्थ समझना फिर भाष्य से, so that it is done 2 times, so that we will be able to understand the subject matter clearly, completely. That's the idea. Straight away with Bhashya you can speak, but word meaning also become familiar. It gives an initial push for us to study it in detail with the help of the Bhashya. Start. ॐ समाने वृक्षे पुरुषो निमग्नः अनीशया शोचति मुह्यमानः जुष्टं यदा पश्यति अन्यमीशम् अस्य महिमानमिति वीतशोकः. अगेन, समाने वृक्षे पुरुषो निमग्नः अनीशया शोचति मुह्यमानः जुष्टं यदा पश्यत्यन्यमीशम् अस्य महिमानमिति वीतशोकः. अगेन, समाने वृक्षे पुरुषो निमग्नः अनीशया शोचति मुह्यमानः जुष्टं यदा पश्यत्यन्यमीशम् अस्य महिमानमिति वीतशोकः. अगेन, समाने वृक्षे पुरुषो निमग्नः अनीशया शोचति मुह्यमानः जुष्टं यदा पश्यति अन्यमीशम् अस्य महिमानमिति वीतशोकः. Wonderful shloka it is. One by one word and word meaning and sentence meaning. Purushaha means Jiva, you and I. Why that Jiva, you and I are called Purusha? Because Purushayanat, we stay in this body, in this body. And in this body, fully from the head top to the toe we stay. Purnatvat. And in general, this Purusha alone, reality, who is all pervading. For these 3 reasons, this you and I Jiva is called as Purusha. The fourth, another important reason for which is called Purusha is he has got or given the Purusha Artha Samartha. And using that only, rather misusing that only, he is bound now in samsara. And any day he can withdraw himself from that and focusing himself in the moksha marga, he can travel and reach out. That Purushartha Samarthya is there to every of the jiva, every of the human beings. That's why Purusha. So that Purusha samane vrukshe. Samane vriksha means the same sharira which can be utilized for the sadhana and the moksha, which he is now using for samsara. That's the meaning of samane means same tree. See, the samsari baddha also is same tree. The sadhaka also is in the same tree. The mukta also in the same tree. Tree is sharira. So the samane vrikshe purushaha. And what is he doing? What is the problem for him, with him, by him, for himself? निमग्नः. निमग्नः डूब गया है वो. And डूबने के कारण, as we saw in our second common sense thought, he has lost all his abilities, energies, all his faculties, everything gone. Once when all our money लुट गयो, power निकल गयो, नौकरी चला गया, बच्चे छोड़ के गए, पत्नी छोड़ के गई, when all of that is gone, what is our position? In the same way, this Purusha in this Sharira Vruksha totally डूब गया. There were all the abilities, energies he lost. Because of that, he is called as Anisha. Anisha. No Ishwaratva. Now, no control on his own abilities or achievements. Therefore, Anishaya Muhyamana. Even though totally lost, still not totally lost, there is still a ray of hope, luckily. But that is not discovering. Therefore, Muhyamana. Therefore, Shochati. So, 4 words to be very thoroughly understood while studying Mundaka Upanishad. We have explained this for 3 days. And first is what? Nimagnaha. Second is mm, Muhyamanaha. Third is Anisha. Fourth is Shochat. Nimagnaha, totally indulgent. Muhyamanaha, deluded in that indulgence and therefore not discovering for himself that gateway out. Therefore, Anisha, he is finding himself to be helpless. Naturally, Shochati, he is becoming miserable. So, Nimagnaha, Muhyamanaha, Anishaya, Shochati. We are all this. Fully Nimagna in the samsara, in the Sharira fulfillments, etc. Therefore, Muhyamanaha, taking this life, only the life. And for us, the company are the same, equally deluded people. The whole world. कौन है आपके पूरे 7 पुश्तों में पीछे वाले देखो या 7 संबंधों में देखो towards your wife or husband side. All are Muhyamana only. How many of them are spiritually studying the Shastras and contemplating? एक आध लोग may be associated with 1 or 2 gurus listening satsang here and there. वो भी कोई भक्ति सुनेंगे, कोई ये वो सुनेंगे, कोई एंटरटेनमेंट करने वाले गुरु कह जाएंगे. But Shuddha Tattva Jnana through the Upanishads teaching, who is listening in our own खानदान? स्वामी जी कोई सुन नहीं रहा इसलिए मैं भी छोड़ के जाना चाह रहा हूँ. अब जाओ, है ना? चले जाओ, कोई रोकेगा नहीं आपको. खुशी से हम विदा करेंगे आपको. जहां भी रहो, जैसा रहो रहो. That is the meaning of everybody also are Muhyamanaha to us. Rather, we are only by our choice or default born and have that company. And everywhere, how much ever we lost in life, please remember, still there will always be a ray of hope, there will be a rope, there will be a window to jump out into the sacred and safer zones. But we don't want to discover that. We are so much of Anisha state that we are not discovering it. And to that Anishatva, we can add our own ego and Murkhatva in a way that when somebody else is shouting and telling us, भैया ये है रास्ता बाहर आने के लिए, हम सुनना नहीं चाहते, हम उनको ट्रस्ट नहीं करना चाहते. The biggest problem for the human being is not trusting the gurus and the shastras, which are showing us the way out from this samsara. Biggest problem. One thing, if that is gained, trust the gurus, masters, and start listening to them, not very far away, that will be out of the samsara. In that Anisha, that also is there. So, Nimagnaha, Muhyamanaha, therefore Anisha. When these three are there, what's the outcome? Fourth one? Shochati. Bas, life is full of misery only. That person, that Jiva you and I, this is the bondage, which will be explained in 10 lines by Bhashyakara, which we will be studying thoroughly. Such Jiva, such bound one, such Anisha, Mr. He yada pashyati. When he sees, and when he sees, how he sees, that will be explained by Bhashyakara. कब देखेगा, कैसा देखेगा, जब भी देखेगा, जैसे भी देखेगा, बट जब देखेगा, किसको देखेगा? पश्यति अन्यम ईशम जुष्टम अन्यम ईशम यदा पश्यति. When he is able to somehow discover the presence of the substratum, then asya mahimanamiti, and knows that it is his asya mahimanam is a very beautiful word. Ki all this whole individual total universe cosmos is running its show by the presence of this Paramatma when he discovers. From this sentence, the entire Bhakti Shastra has come. And how to convert from that Bhakti to the Jnana? Though he is the one whose Mahima this whole world is, there is another Mahima in him. That he is not bound by that. Second thing. Everything is his Mahima through this surrender. And his second Mahima is that though he is the one because of whom the entire universe cosmos show is running, yet he is not entangled anywhere. He is not bound anywhere. That is his Mahima. And the third is very important, is that Mahimavan, because of whose presence everything is happening, and that Mahimavan, whose another Mahima is not to be bound by all of that, is me. When he knows that, then Justam Yada Pashyati Anyam Isham. That's the meaning of this sentence. Tada Vitashoko Bhavati. He is freed from the Shoka, the Moha, the Dukkha, the Samsara, the Janma Marana, from all of that, he becomes free. That's what we said in the explanation of the earlier shloka. They are not two beings, but they are two states of being. They are not two people that who sleep like buffalo up to 8 o'clock and who gets up at 5 a.m. does meditation. Only one fellow. But one state of his being is identified with that tamoguna, therefore not able to get up. Other state of being is identified with the satyaguna, sadhana, therefore he got up and did his stuff. दो बंदे नहीं होते. Therefore, the one who is nimagnaha, he alone will have to come out of Janam and discover his Ishwaratva. He is not Anisha, he is Ishvara. He is Mahimanvita. So the whole Vedantic thought is the world is there because of me and not the other way around. Therefore, I need not be slave of it. It should be my slave. Slave. And the proof that it is the slave I am not is just kick the world and stay in your life. Stay in yourself. As simple as that. So we try to see the meaning of this mantra in this way. Samane vrukshe purusho nimagnaha anishaya shochati mukhyamanaha justam yada pashyati anyamisham asya mahimanamiti vitasho. Now this Purusha, Bhashyakara will explain in so many exhaustive lines. That's most enchanting. He has fully utilized the opportunity presented to put in front of his readers in crystal clear words the entire autobiography of not a yogi but a bhogi, a rogi, a samsar. Maha Adbhutam hai. I am so fascinated by this Bhashyam. I'll just for you one para chant, which we'll explain tomorrow. समाने वृक्षे शरीरे पुरुषः. Who is he? भोक्ता अविद्या काम कर्म फल रागादि गुरु भार आक्रांतः अलाबुरिव समुद्रजले निमग्नः निश्चयेन देहात्मभावमापन्नः अयमेव अहम् अमुष्यपुत्रः अस्य नप्ता कृशः स्थूलः गुणवान् निर्गुणः सुखी दुःखी इति एवं प्रत्ययः न अन्यः अस्ति अस्मात् इति जायते म्रियते संयुज्यते च सम्बन्धि बान्धवैः अतः अनीशया न कस्यचित् समर्थोऽहं पुत्रो मम नष्टः मृता मे भार्या किं मे जीवितेन इति एवं दीनभावः अनीशा तया शोचन्ति संतप्यते मुह्यमानः अनेकैः अनर्थप्रकारैः अविवेकतया विचित्र ताम आपद्यमानः सः एव प्रेत तिर्यं मनुष्यादि योनिषु आपतन दुःखम आपन्नः कदाचित् अनेक जन्म शुद्ध धर्म संचय निमित्तं केनचित् परमकारुणिकेन दर्शित योग मार्गः अहिंसा सत्य ब्रह्मचर्य सर्वत्याग समाहितात्मा सन् समाधि संपन्नः जुष्टं सेवितम् अनेक योग मार्गैर् यदा यस्मिन् काले पश्यति ध्यायमानः अन्यं वृक्षोपादि लक्षणात् विलक्षणं असंसारिणम् अशनायाद्य संस्पृष्टं सर्वान्तरं परमात्मानं ईशम् अयम् अहम् अस्मि इति आत्मा सर्वस्य समः सर्वभूतान्तरस्थः न इतरः अविद्या जनित उपाधि परिच्छिन्नः माया आत्मा इति विभूतिं महिमानम् इति जगद्रूपम् अस्यैव महिमा परमेश्वरस्य इति यदा एवं पश्यति तदा वीतशोकः भवति. टोटल प्रॉब्लम डायग्नोस्ड एंड द सॉल्यूशन गिवन. ये सारा फिर मुझे 2 दिन लगेंगे. एक बार कह देंगे फिर से और एक बार, so that at least one place we are sincerely attempting to thoroughly study the subject, and that's very important portion also in our study. So how we are deluded jiva, so pictorially it will be explained here. So be ready tomorrow with your pen paper and your book and your fresh mind to listen about your own story and my own story. Sabka ek hi. Thank you. Om 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 Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ओम शांति शांति शांति. हरि ओम. श्री गुरुभ्यो परमर्षिभ्यो परब्रह्मणे श्रुतिमात्रे नमः. तत्सत् ब्रह्मार्पणमस्तु. Wonderful friends. Come in 5 minutes to study Gita.